Welcome to Black Adam physics class. We are given that automobile moves at 40 kilometer for at 30 kilometer per hour, and then later moves at the same distance 40 kilometer at the upper speed at 60 kilometer per hour. So average speed, average velocity is changing distance over changing time, and then changing distance is distance 1 plus distance 2. So that's the average. So we have kilometer plus kilometer traveled in both situations, 40 making it 80 kilometer. And then from there we have change in time. Change in time will mean you have different times there, that you have T1 and T2. So all of that adds up to make T1. To make change in T. So T1 is 40 kilometers. Remember that time is distance over speed. So it's 40 kilometers over 30 kilometers per hour. And then we have there 1.33 hour. And then 2, we have the same thing, that the distance traveled is 40 kilometers and the speed is 60 kilometers per hour. So that gives us something like 0.67. Adding then changing T, which is T1 plus T2, gives us 1.33 plus 0.67, giving us 2.00 hours. So it's 2 hours. So average velocity is going to be change in distance and then over change in time. So the distance traveled together is 80 kilometers, and the time taken for both situations is 2 hours. And then dividing all that gives us 40 kilometers per hour. So that's the speed. And that's it for first question. And then we move on to the second question, where it says, what is the average speed? Remember, we're dealing with velocity. Velocity has direction. So the average speed is the same as average velocity, which is 40 kilometers per hour. That's the answer for B. Moving on to our question on C. C is we have to represent that on the graph. So that is our graph, vertical and horizontal line. And then we have 40, so that is 80 there, and that is the distance traveled. And then we also have change in time. So remember that we need a steep line, so that is going to be 40 at the given time. And then we also need to get that, and then the maximum took 2 hours. And the average speed is a straight line, so it's not a curve. So it's gonna be all the resultant of the vectors together. So the average vector is the line on the dot. So you can see that our first gradient, which is 40 kilometers per hour, is not as steep as the second one. So the second one is 60. So the higher the speed, the steeper the gradient. Thank you for watching. That's the answer. Don't forget to follow us.